position. Oh, sure. Jonathan just came up here and pushed a button. So you see it says mute microphone underneath it. So I wasn't sure if it would turn it off or on. That's what's confusing. Okay. All right. So what would I do without Jonathan? And what would I do without Paula? Thank you. That's really what I wanted to say is thank you, Paula, for everything that you've done. I know you certainly helped the role of the administrator and a lot of, we're going to be hearing at the full board meeting about a list of accomplishments over the last couple of years, and big kudos to all that the treasurer's office and Paula contributed to that. So now that we're not muted, that got out on YouTube. So there, nothing else did, not even your report. So.
Okay. The ROE? We just want to hear from the dog.
Does it work? Okay, now I'm on. I know everywhere I go now, I walk in the room, no one says hi, Chris anymore. They go, where's the dog? The dog, when our school's open, the dog is doing great work with our kids. So he's at the school every day. We did have, we were at the office on election day. Our office was open and I took him to work with me and it was a big hit at the office too. So now I'm getting that up at where I work. All the coworkers want to know where the dog is. So, but he's doing great work. The kids love him and he's amazing. So a couple highlights from my report real quick, just updates on health, life, safety, and compliance. The fall is the busiest time of the year for myself and Josh Knuth, the assistant superintendent. Michelle Hopp, our Lee County employee, is also certified in doing building inspections, and that's kind of what takes up a lot of our fall. We have 74 buildings to go through in all three counties each year, and by statute, we are the ones that go through with the fire marshal's office and make sure that they're safe for the students and the educators. And we're over half now with the rest scheduled out here in December. We'll get those taken care of. We always like to get that done first semester. Also, compliance. People ask me all the time, who's in charge of making sure school districts follow all the mandates and all the educational laws. That is our office. We work with each district every 4 years to go through that system and make sure that they upload proof into the state system that they're meeting all those requirements, everything from what they're supposed to be doing legally for their employees, their educators, and for the students. Matter of fact, when I leave here, I'm heading to Forreston to meet with the superintendent there to give her an update on the system, and they can start uploading things. So we're off and moving with that. The professional development department updates there. You can see that we're continuing to provide tons of trainings for our area. Two of the things that I was able to get done this fall, most of you know my background, and it's very important to me that our schools are safe and that our students every day and our educators every day can come to school, feel safe, and go home to their families at the end of every day. So two of the things that I help our districts provide, I'm a certified ALICE instructor. Most of our school districts either have been trained in ALICE or run, hide, fight, which is what to do in the, God forbid, there's an incident where they need to either lock down or get out of the building. And every year, new educators need to be trained, and it's really hard for school districts to train one or two educators at a time. So I partner with the Sterling Police Department every fall, and we were able to get that done in August, right before school started. And we had 85 educators from our 3 counties show up, and we were able to train them in ALICE, which was very exciting for our districts. And then every district now is required to have a behavioral threat assessment team that people can report concerns of students to that team so they can get together and decide if that student does need some extra support and extra help, if they're struggling with some things. And I am a certified instructor. I've trained most of the teams in our 3 counties. And again, we have new staff members every year that are going to be assigned to these teams, and the districts just don't have the availability to get that done. So in October, I was able to, at SAUC, provide that training. I had 37 educators from across the 3 counties show up, and I was able to take that day and get them trained to be certified to be members of their threat assessment teams at the schools. So that went very, very well. Another thing I want to highlight, there's some pictures in our report this year. Our Nexus team and Project Open, which many of you know about, is the opioid abuse grant that I sat on that board the whole entire time here in Dixon. We did a lot of work, and working with Nexus and with Project Open, we were able to bring Joseph Green in, who is he's an expert. He's a recovering addict, but he goes around the country now. He's presented at the White House, and he does tons of talks to students about recovery and depression and getting help. And we were able to bring him in. He did 10 presentations at local middle schools in the area. He also presented to our students over at the Center for Change. It was just amazing. So there's some pictures from those presentations and a little blurb on that. It was great having him here for the week and we got a ton of positive feedback from our schools that he went to. The updates are in there. We're continuing to work hard. Our Parents as Teachers first year program, our education outreach program continues to enroll students. It's amazing. I don't know how Beth keeps doing it, but we just had 3 more graduates in October that got their high school equivalency, which is awesome. Our Center for Change, where Oz is, has been extremely busy. It's a lot of school districts are busy this year. We've students coming back to school full time and trying to get adjusted to in-person learning again, and are struggling with some things. So we're now up to 71 students, and we're unfortunately at the point where we have a waiting list again. But we're working very hard to try and accommodate the referrals that we get from districts, because we want to continue to be able to help those students. And I think we're going to have 3 or 4 graduates again here in December, which is amazing. The success rate that our staff has over there. Our Truant's Alternative Program is really busy. They're continuing to work and see what they can do to help all the districts in our 3 counties. There's an update on them, and same with the homeless liaison that runs not only our 3 counties, but the whole northwest part of the state. Has been very, very busy trying to connect with schools and help when we can with homeless issues. So one other thing, the update on our new office location. We did get the lease squared away. I'll talk to Wendy after the meeting briefly, but Whiteside County State's Attorney and Charlie went over the lease. They were happy with it. So we're moving ahead. So I'll be signing the lease later on this week, and we will be scheduled to start moving in June. Our new location will be next to Goodwill in Sterling. I know a lot of you are familiar with where that plaza is, and we really want to try and get to Dixon, but the amount of rent that the owner is charging us on a 10-year lease with the unlimited parking and everything they have there just really worked out best for our needs versus the parking situation here in Dixon at a couple of facilities we looked at. So that will be our home for the next 10 years and hopefully beyond that. And I'll keep everyone updated on the move too. Any questions at all about my report?
Oh, a lot of good work.
Okay, thank you. I'm very honored and blessed. When I saw the number of votes I got, I was floored in the 3 counties, and I'm honored and blessed to have this position and can't wait to get going on the next 4 years. See what we can get accomplished in the next 4 years for all our schools.
We appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Next, so new business, the meeting schedule. This is discussion only.
So we thought that this was important to start getting out this month, even though it's our vision that we won't approve this schedule until the new board gets seated. In fact, it's one of the agenda items that will be on the December 5th meeting to approve the schedule. So a little bit of logistical on our side, that meeting schedule has to be approved and then sent to the local newspaper for publication. We have to set these meetings by Open Meetings Act a year in advance, essentially, is what it boils down to. So we'll be doing that at the December 5th meeting. But we thought that what we should do is get it out there to those board members that'll be coming back for discussion purposes and to be prepared. So what staff is recommending is very similar to what we're doing right now, which is the evening meetings at 6 p.m. for full board. Committee meetings, remember, we're going to be restructuring the committee. So we're down to 2 committee meetings in addition to finance and executive. So our vision right now is that the 2 committee meetings, and remember, all departments are now going to be merged under these 2 committee meetings. We're hoping for a schedule, or what we're proposing is a schedule that will be 8:30 for the first meeting. Let's call it county, I think that's the county services meeting. On the very same day, on Monday at 10:30, as a proposed schedule, is the second committee meeting, which would be public safety and court services. So part of the reason that we did that is that we always have a challenge. We currently have a challenge. If something comes out of one of these committees, the current schedule right now, public safety, for example, will meets on Wednesdays. Well, if something from public safety needs to come out of public safety and move forward to executive committee and full board, we don't have 48 hours to be able to get it on that agenda. So what we do now to compensate for that is we literally put everything we think might move forward onto the executive and full board agenda because we have to do it for Open Meetings Act. With having this proposed schedule, anything that would come out of the 2 meetings that would now occur on Monday at 8:30 and 10:30, we would have 48 hours to get those things moved forward to the appropriate agendas. We could get it on executive committee, which we're proposing to be on Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock, potentially at 11 o'clock that morning. But that's why we're trying to build that gap between the early meetings in the week and executive, is to meet that Open Meetings Act requirement of publishing or posting 48 hours in advance. So this is what we're proposing. Again, staff recommendation, we're looking for your feedback. We will be presenting this schedule for the December 5th meeting. In my mind, the only, one of the questions, not the only question, but one of the questions is, over the years, we've done numerous things. Many, many years ago, we used to meet at 9 a.m. for full board meeting. Then we got to where we were doing half of them, depending upon the season, half of them in the morning at 9 a.m. during the winter months when it gets dark early, and during the summer months, we were doing them at 6 p.m. at night. So we did a hybrid approach. And then in the last couple of years, we've done all night meetings. So I don't know what the will of the board is regarding this topic. And we've got a lot of new members, so I don't know where that will go, but you can be thinking about that and giving that some consideration before that December 5th meeting.
So Mondays would be county services and public safety, 8:30 and 10:30?
Yep.
Instead of like 9 and 11?
Right. Well, we can do 9 and 11 too. If we end up at 11 o'clock, if you have a 2-hour meeting for public safety, you're going to be till 1 o'clock. And so it's the will of the board. What do you want to do? Becky and I will, we'll bring snacks in, but, but it really depends on what you want. I think the biggest concept was to get 2 meetings on Monday and then the other 2 meetings be on the following Thursday, or that same Thursday. So other than what time it is, isn't a big deal to us.
So
Any other
just-
questions or thoughts?
So December 5th, this will be an agenda item for the full board to vote. Will there be any recommendation? There won't be any recommendation out of this committee, or this is the recommendation?
At this, you can make a recommendation out of this committee if you'd like, but my experience from 2 years ago was, let's let the new board members, now you all three are going to be back at the table, but you're going to end up with some board members, making a recommendation that potentially aren't going to be impacted by it. So our thought was, we don't really have a recommendation, just rather throw it out there for discussion for your consideration between now and December 5th.
Okay.
Wendy, November 21st, is that 2022 or 2023? And red in the bottom, the county board meeting on Tuesday morning? On the bottom of the...
Oh, that would be, that we're talking about next 2023 is what we'd be talking about.
Right, because this one's on the evening still, but this is for 2023.
And you'll notice
And
there,
that could change.
right, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. And there is no executive session, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
But before you do that, but before you do that,
But before we do that,
I probably should have added this when I was speaking earlier about this. So a couple heads up. Nancy already told you, December 5th, Monday, December 5th. I did send out an email to everybody last Friday, and I do want to clarify, and I'll try to clarify this throughout committee week this week. We are looking for the questionnaire that went out. We're looking for that to come back from everybody, even our veterans who have been here. The idea behind that is that anyone that wishes to run for county board chairman will have that information available to them, because they have a bit of a challenge ahead of them when whoever gets elected on Monday, December 5th, will immediately need to disseminate committee assignments. And so in order for them to do some preparation ahead of time, we're trying to get these questionnaires out and get your feedback about what committees you would like to serve on, or where you think your strengths are. So if you could all get those back to me, that would be great. Speaking of December 5th, we will be electing chair, vice chair. We will be setting the schedule for the next year. The members will all be sworn in. We will be drawing for terms. We got a lot going on that day. And then when we get through that business, we are going to go into some high-level overview of things that we think are important for board members to know. And I know that some of you seasoned veterans are going to go, yeah, I got that. But it never hurts to have a refresher on Open Meetings Act. So we're hoping that all of you will schedule your morning to be able to stay with us. We are right now intending to order in lunch, because we do think if the meeting starts at 9 and we do some of this training, that we're talking about that we could probably be leading up to 11:30 or 12. So we thought we'd cap it off with a lunch that we order in and then send everybody on their way for the afternoon. So please pencil us in for the morning if you've got the time. We'd love to have you join us. Last but not least, a reminder for this month, you have at 5:30 on the same date as your county board meeting at 5:30 is a truth and taxation hearing. By statute, that hearing has to be a separate meeting from your county board meeting, so we can't deal with this at your county board regular agenda. So at 5:30, there will be a truth and taxation hearing. The reason we were required to have a truth and taxation hearing is the law says if you're asking for greater than 5%, what you asked for the prior year, then you have to have a truth and taxation hearing to notify the public. We've also put a notification in the public, or excuse me, in the newspaper to the public on that topic. So pencil us in, 5:30 hearing will start, then we'll roll into at 6, we'll close the hearing out, and then we'll come back in at 6 o'clock for the regular board meeting. All right, I think that's all I have to
Thank
know.
you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? I realize I didn't ask anybody. Nope, good. Okay, now a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Keen seconded. Yep. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Meeting adjourned.